but he retired in 8 years after he started work. He graduated from college, worked for 8 years, and then retired after he had $800,000 saved up. Good morning, my financial friends. What's up, my financial friends? It's Sam here, coming at you today. We're going to talk about the best resources for people just learning about finance and what they can listen to, what they can read, what they can watch to get them more educated and get started. Because I know that when I started about 9 months ago, after I dropped pre-med, I had to find a way that I was going to make money, and it was daunting because there's so much information. It's such a big part of everyone's lives that there's so much information that people want to read and write that it can be really difficult to get started because there are just so many different options to go. And I've been sorting through it for the last 9 months or so, and I have my top 10 list of resources here to get you started. And if you could like, comment, and subscribe, that'd be great. That way I can keep on pumping out more content for everyone. So when I started 9 months ago, I wanted to read a book. The reason for this was because I figured that if there was a New York Times bestseller on finance, that it would be higher quality than something I could just find online, because that would take more research to sort through. So what I started with was a book that my dad had that was called Money Master the Game, and is by Tony Robbins, who used to be a motivational speaker, still kind of is, but he's also a little bit more into finance than he used to be. So he takes a approach that's very motivating. If you're just getting started, this is a great book because he does a good job of motivating you and making it seem like everything that you want is achievable, because a lot of us get wrapped up in the numbers, and it's difficult to really wrap our heads around saving for retirement when we're 20 and needing, $1 million or $2 million along the way to retire comfortably. And he does a good job of going through that in his book. It is a rather large book. I believe it's over 600 pages, but it's got a lot of information about different investments, about how to mentally go at retirement and salary and stuff like that. And it's a great book to start because, like I said, it's a good intro and it's easy for beginners to read. The second book that I would suggest, if you don't want to read 600 pages, I have this one here. It's Tony Robbins' Unshakeable, and it's very similar to the other book. It's just condensed and made a little bit more friendly to the average person that doesn't want to read 30 pages about annuities or something like that. That book is about 200 pages, I believe, and it's a great place to start also. The next thing that I would say is, if you don't have time to read, podcasts are great. I know podcasts are becoming big again, and I started listening to Listen Money Matters. It's Listen Money Matters, and they're just two guys that talk about all different kinds of financial topics. They start off with a can of beer or a bottle of beer, talk about that for a couple minutes, and then get into whatever topic they have. You can find it on podcasts if you have an iPhone, or you can just find it online at their website. They have over 250 podcasts on all different types of things, from saving to like travel hacking to retirement savings, how much you need, all kinds of different things. And they're just two pretty average guys that have done a lot of research and really have tried to maximize what they can do in personal finance. So that's another great place to start because they have so many different topics and you can look up what you want. The next resource that I would say to go at is called MrMoneyMustache.com. I listened to a podcast of his that was in Listen Money Matters. They had him on as a guest, and he's known for his mustache. That's why it's Mr. Money Mustache. But he retired in 8 years after he started work. He graduated from college, worked for 8 years, and then retired after he had $800,000 saved up. And he's a great resource. The website's a great resource to read different articles about how consumerism affects you in the long term. He is very frugal, but he has a very full life now, and now he makes more money than when he was working because he has all this free time to pursue his interests. And since he's going after something that he enjoys, he spends so much more time and thought into it that he actually can make more money now. So he's a great resource if you want to be inspired for early retirement or different savings opportunities and stuff like that. And his tagline for his website's pretty cool too. It's something about retiring early through badacity or something like that. So it's pretty cool. If you've gone through those different resources, Bankrate.com is a great resource. If you're looking at retirement, they have calculators, they have 401k calculators, mortgage calculators, stuff like that. It's a really good tool if you want to start playing around with numbers to determine how much you need to save each week, each month, each year, whatever. And then how that will translate 30 years down the road. They also have a bunch of articles on different things. If you're wondering what the difference between a Roth IRA and a traditional IRA is, they have articles on that. They have the average interest rate for mortgages. They have articles every couple days on that. So it's a great resource if you want something like at work, but instead of just going on Facebook or something like that. It's a great resource that you can use in public that isn't as disruptive as listening to something or reading something. Another great resource is BiggerPockets. It is about real estate, actually. It's a website, and then they also have a YouTube channel, and I'm sure they have many other resources, but it's talking about rental property and how you can retire early through rental property or just grow your wealth through rental property. And I just got into this probably a month or two ago, and I think it's a great resource if you are someone that has extra money to spend on rental houses, or if you want to learn about house hacking and how you can save money through that. I think it's a great resource because they have forums on there too. They have calculators. They have all different kinds of stuff, and it's very interesting. They also have a podcast too if you like that. Now, going on to YouTube. YouTube's probably the thing that people will like the most from this list because everyone likes the catchiness of YouTube and being able to put a face to the words and everything like that too. It's a little bit more interactive, it's catchier, it's a little bit clickbaitier, but a great resource that I have found is Stephan. He is a realtor over in California, but he talks about real estate, he talks about investing, savings, mental approaches to all this kind of stuff, and he's an interesting guy. He didn't go to college. He started as a realtor, made a lot of money early on. Just a really hard worker. That's his main goal, I think, is just to make money and grow his business, stuff like that. And he is a great resource for really any of that kind of stuff. His videos are pretty funny too, so they're entertaining. And yeah, that's where I'd go to on YouTube first if you're looking for investment advice. Another YouTube channel is called Meet Kevin. It's very similar to Stephan. It's another realtor out in that area, and he talks about a lot of the same stuff. He's also a pretty funny guy. He talks about Dave Ramsey and Grant Cardone and people like that that are a little bit polarizing in the finance community. Another great person to watch is GaryVee, or Gary Vaynerchuk. He is more of a motivational speaker than anyone else on this list. He talks about hustling and working hard and how you can't complain about your situation if you're going home and watching 3 hours of Walking Dead every night, stuff like that. He's a really cool guy. He owns his own marketing firm and has been working hard since he was, in his pre-teens, selling stuff and hustling. Now, if you've gone through all these resources and you want more of the nitty-gritty, like what are municipal bonds, how do banks work, stuff like that, I would watch Khan Academy. They really do a good job of in-depth explanations on finances and how money works and all that kind of stuff. And I know that I went through, 50 videos on finance from them to really try to understand finance at its roots more and how different different companies make money and stuff like that. And that's a really good resource if you want to go more in depth than just where should I put my money. Now, an honorable mention here is Dave Ramsey. He is someone that I don't personally like that much, but I can see how a lot of other people like him. He does good work for the finance community. He talks about mostly minimizing debt and getting out of debt. So the reason I don't really like him is because he isn't really about wealth building at all. He doesn't care about that. His main goal is to get you out of debt, and he'll get you out of debt as fast as possible. Now, that might be to the detriment of your long-term finances. I know that he's talked about some things that are just, common sense in the finance community, and he's gone against them. Like when you have a 401k from an employer and they will match your contribution up 100%. So you're making 100% more on whatever you invest in there. You just can't touch it for a while until you retire. He says don't do that if you have debt, which really put me off from him because I'm looking for a long-term approach that can build me the most money and the most freedom, and I don't like how he approaches that. Now, he's great if you're in debt and your main goal is just to get out as fast as possible. You don't want the stress of it, but that's not a very holistic approach. It's very one-sided. He doesn't want you to use credit cards to build up credit to make your interest rates lower because he's worried that you'll get credit card debt and you won't be able to control yourself. So if you're someone that wants to get out of debt, go for it. Otherwise, I would stay away and check out those other resources. So that is my top 10 list. It covers books, podcasts, articles, websites, and YouTube channels. I think that there's a lot of good material. There's more than enough to keep you busy for a long time. If you guys have any more suggestions for material, please leave in the comments below. Thanks. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more.